tonight.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to horrornightoasis, a radio show where we discuss all of the latest movies and news from the world of horror. Joining me tonight, as always, is my co-host Ian. Ian, are you there?
Barely.
I mean, seriously, you gotta stop growing your beard, man. I mean, that's the one problem you're having. You know, we got these ZZ Top beards, and they're just getting possessed. You know, what are we gonna do about it? We were trying to bring the end of the world or something with beards.
Oh God, the things.
Well, we're here. Yeah, we're here, and we're contemplating our lives again. It's the start of a brand new marathon, and we usually do these, especially around this time, where it's our Monsters Day marathon, where we discuss monster movies throughout the month of May in honor of Mother's Day, and we started off strong. I'll say that much. Boy,
oh yeah,
we got shit to talk about. But yeah, oh boy, Ian. Okay, so yeah, Monsters Day, always interesting when we get these films that we choose from, and we just decided there was no rhyme or reason. I picked a few that sounded interesting, and we just went from the top of the list. I think we're just going to go down it and see what the world gives us. And man, did the world give us this one. So yay us. But we are talking about Mark of the Werebeard. And this is a 2-for-1 special because it's a monster movie, and it also has a mother subplot, which honestly doesn't come that often with these monster films, where we're actually having the son trying to save his mother who has dementia. But we're introduced to Jack, who is a freelance barber. He runs a barbershop out of this suite in this building, and he's just going about his business, and soon he's thrust into a weird, unorthodox journey of self-discovery, beards, and elder beards, and cults, and beard hunters, and video games, and there's just a lot of stuff he is thrust upon, dealing with a concoction created by this mad scientist. I'm assuming a mad scientist in a facility that's spreading the disease or curse of the werebeard onto others to make more werebeards. It is a very throwing everything at the wall just to see what sticks, and for them, everything stuck, and some good and some bad. This is not one of those where it's just like, everything basically hit the bullseye, and like, all right, this is what we're gonna do, throwing everything out there. And boy, was there a lot. There's a lot to unpack. There's
Yes.
because it's I mean, so basically, again, Jack, he's doing his thing, and he starts this budding relationship with this girl named Stacy. And then one day this guy comes in to his barber shop. He's acting suspicious, and he breaks his scissors, his shears, and he he goes to his mom. He's taking care of his mom because his mom has dementia. She's always talking about his father and how, like, mom, like, mom, dad's dead. And then, like, she's always bringing up, oh, your dad's going to be here. Your father's going to be here. And there's all kinds of, like, trying to take care of his mother. Slowly starting the relationship with Stacy. And then the hunter of the Werebeard comes in and basically does the whole, you're a hunter, Jack, you have the power. I've been hunting these Werebeards and this cult for years, and it's all culminating. We need to go to point A to get to point B to get to point C so we can do the final battle at point D, basically. So it's all pinpointed around, but it's just all these little intricate little things that happen that's sprinkled throughout the journey, where Jack becomes this ultra powerful Werebeard killer, by trying to kill or stop the cult from bringing Beelzebub to the world and stopping the Elderbeard. And boy, does that sound weird to me. That sounds like you guys are watching some weird shit. Yes, we are. This is top tier weird shit. But it's not. The thing is that it's too. I wouldn't say audacious, but it's just too in your face at times, where it's just constantly throwing new things in the rotation, and there's all these beard and hair puns, and the hunter trying to find these ancient shears from, like, ancient times, and that's what Jack buys at the pawn shop from his friend, for $50, and they're like this, the high powered, utility weapon, and they just throw a lot of stuff at you, and like I said, for better or for worse, I mean, I can appreciate the tenacity, but it became a little too much in its approach. Like I said, it's just way out there, and I appreciate them having fun. Like, I can see it, they're having fun making it, even though it was a little just in your face, and just like, and again, like, the acting's not the best. This is like, I wanted to bring this up to you, Ian, when I was, like, making little comments, but it's like the opposite end of what Moose the Movie was. Like, this is kind of what you expected Moose the Movie to be, with, like, how it's trying to handle all these weird things, and, like, Moose did it superbly. And this one is like, they have a low budget and they're just throwing everything out there no matter what. Like, we're having toy cars on strings, we're having little fur balls attacking the toy truck, we're having computer game CGI cutscenes like a RPG, we're going to throw a musical number in there, we're going to have anime style graphics on the screen for where he gets the scissors and takes them from small to these big giant weapons. They're just throwing a lot out there. The freaking we haven't even got to the beard monsters yet, but, like, the beard monsters, I mean, they're fine. It's like a modified Bigfoot suit, but honestly, the beard monsters look like tamarin monkeys.
Yeah.
In the face, and it's just like that just looks like a giant Tamarin monkey. and then you have like just some of the dialogue is a little much, and just like they're really like draining the joke. And it's just like it wants to be this cheesy, campy film, but it's just like it can't really juggle everything perfectly. And it's just there's things that's like falling through the cracks, and just like that didn't work out right. That's not good. This acting's a little too over the top, and I get what they're trying to go for, like when they're going there to save his mom and she gets kidnapped again, the girlfriend gets kidnapped again, and then like all these things, and he's like screaming no over and over, like, oh my god, there's just like all these things where like it just it just they really tried. And again, I give them props, but it's just like, to me, it felt a little too much on the nose, and it's just like it didn't. Personally, I wasn't a fan of the film. There was moments where it's like, okay, I get it. It's like it tried to be, again. It's like it was like Moose, where like it worked all the things. Where it was like it was cute, it was fun, it was kind of campy and cheesy, but it wove everything perfectly together. Like a perfectly knit sweater. But this one was just like too broad and too all over the place and just loose ends, and it just did not work for me the way that it was intended. And again, I give the props, they were having fun, but it did not work, in my opinion, for me personally. But Ian, I'll let you give your thoughts, and then we'll go back and forth.
You give them props. I say they needed less props. I felt like they just was like, what can we do with what we have in our closets? And the toy truck killed me, because I know they had to go out and look for something that looked exactly like theirs. I don't know. That this movie was something else. Like, I mean, I didn't hate it. I didn't like it, but I didn't hate myself for watching it. I mean, honestly, it is kind of what I needed, like just something off the wall and just absolutely mind numbing after the couple of weeks I've had. So yeah, I mean, it served its purpose. I think I think it's a fine movie for like what they were trying to do, like, I mean, I didn't go into this thinking it was going to be something great. But it wasn't what I was expecting. The random music number that happened in the middle was just, I don't know. I guess they were just like, why not? And the acting was not good. And I kind of enjoyed that, just because like it didn't take itself seriously. And I like when movies like this, because we've watched a couple that we were complaining that they have taken themselves too seriously. And I'm glad this wasn't one of them. And I don't know, it just looked like they were having fun. Like, this was definitely a passion project. These guys were just like, hey, you just want to make something stupid? And they're like, yeah, why not? Like, but when he pulled the giant scissors out, I thought I was going to wake my wife and kid with how loud I was I laughed at that, because I was like, that's just so stupid. And like the random martial arts that happened, like this movie kept like every 5 minutes something new was happening, like a new sequence, a new just like, I don't know, it was just such a weird thing. And all the twist at the end was, honestly, I did not see that coming. But then again, like, nothing in this movie I saw coming, so it kind of fit. But I mean, like, I figured something was going on, but I don't know. I don't really want to get into too much spoilers until later, so.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, yeah, they were having fun. I mean, the director, I believe, played the hunter. So it's like he's giving, he's doing his hunter thing, doing all the beard quips and hair quips and um, one-liners and jokes and all that. And again, like Jack's a fine, he's an all right character. They kind of gave him a little bit of depth with his mom, so it's like there's a little more development there. At the end, there's like, again, I don't know. It's just it just again, maybe it's just like I said, it's just a little too much in my opinion.
Definitely.
Where it's just like it just kept going and going and going. We're just like, now this, now the princess is in the next castle, Where again,
Yeah,
I didn't mind it, but it's just like it got to the point where it was, like you said, numbing, and it was just like I'm kind of zoned out for a little bit of this. Again, they did some okay effects, and like the Werebeard, not Werebeard, but the Elderbeard, the CGI Elderbeard scene was okay. How he went about with that. Again, I'm not going to complain about the suits of the Werebeards. Those are fine, even though it did look like a tamarin monkey. But it's just one of those watches where it's just like, I can understand why this is on Tubi. This is one of those where it's just like, it was there. It's not going to be memorable. It's not going to be one of those where it's like, oh yeah, it's not really worth, bringing up like, oh, you should check this out, you should do that. This is definitely one of those where it's just like, it's just like me and you talking, it's just like, yeah, this is just like, remember that one movie where the beards, like, oh yeah, that was a movie, but it's just like, again, like you can, I mean, I get it that they're having fun, but it's just like, they really, sometimes, like going for too much or trying to, the tone was just kind of all over the place. Like it didn't know where it was going, it was just like constant, like you said, throwing everything at the wall and just like, yep, we're going to go that route. We're going to follow this from here to there to that. And it's just like, it kind of reminded me, it reminded me of a lot of things, but I'm trying to keep it to a couple. But you remember we did it years ago, but it was Cherokee Creek. It was the Bigfoot movie about the people in the woods, and it's like stoner comedy, and like the comedy didn't work, and then threw Bigfoot in there with all these gory kills, and it's just like those two didn't mesh. It's like this one's like, it's just like too all over the place, and it just kind of didn't mesh in my opinion.
Yeah.
With like that approach, and it's just like, because it's just like you have this, Jack trying to be a good son, and like then the budding relationship with the girl, Stacy, and then it throws in this weird beard cult, and then you have, the mad scientist, and then it turns into a cartoon almost, like the whole film. It felt like a cartoon, where just like
it really
those crazy cartoons where like Aqua Teen Hunger Force or something, where it just like kept throwing more stuff in there.
Honestly, that's what I was getting. I honestly was thinking. I was like, man, this is kind of like like this is the kind of shit that the Adult Swim would put on. Oh man, the things we watch.
But again, like I appreciate them having fun, but it just, me personally, I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan of it. I mean, I get it. I mean, but it's just like the way that they approached it, and just like how it weaved and everything, and all the storylines and the cult, and where it eventually led to, and it was fine. Like you said, it's fine, but it just, the way it went about things is just like, it didn't stick to one like tone. It was all over the place, and it's just like, where is this film going? You know, it's like, where's the tone of the film? And it's just like, there is none. And it's just like, we're just gonna do this. We're gonna do a musical number, then we're gonna do a video game scene where like we're stuck in a video game and see, you know, RPG, and then we're gonna have an anime scene, like I don't know, some like Yu-Gi-Oh looking anime stuff going on. And it was just like, and then the ending with like, yeah, it's fine, the fighting the werebeards in the house and the reveal of everything, even though, like you said, it's pretty easy to see that coming. But I don't know, they could have done a little bit more with it. Like they kind of stopped the film too with the subplot of the Jack and Stacy getting in love, and like then she gets sort of possessed or something, and like, oh, I did it, you know, that kind of got convoluted a little bit towards the end there. Because like the werebeard hair has like this blood, not this blood, but like this serum or this elixir inside of it, which turns up people, because like that's what happens with the mad scientist, because he's like doing these infomercials and like he's selling this product, and it's like turning people into werebeards, because of like the elder beard, and like they're doing the whole cult thing, and so they're turning normal people into werebeards, I guess. With the blood, hair and the blood, it got a little too much. Like I said, it's just like it got too much, too heavy-handed with like everything that's trying to juggle, and it's just like there's too many balls, and it was just like one that just kept slipping out, you know, trying to juggle all these balls. And yeah, it's just like too many shapes and sizes, and you couldn't keep a good flow going, and that's the reason the tone's all off.
Yeah, no, I feel like, you know, there's just some scenes that, I mean, obviously you could tell like they just threw it there at the last second, because they didn't know what to do. But like, I'm probably gonna be thinking about that just random music number that only lasted for like a quick
2 minutes.
scene. Yeah, and
Yeah.
see, I think the problem with it was too many throwaway gags. Like, I think that's what it really boiled down to, was like it was just too many throwaway gags. It was like a couple here and there were fine, but they just, especially to like toward the end, they just kept going and going. Plus, all of the one-liners were so forced. Like the way the line delivery just felt like he was forcing himself to like make something, or just, I don't know, it just didn't feel natural.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's another film that's sort of similar to this one. It's not Moose, but it's called Beyond the Chamber of Horror, and it's like where this guy is like super serious, you know, action guy, you know, and he's like super serious, and he's going after this cult, and like he's like, you know, just like doing all these action one-liners and quips, and like it's a very serious character, but like a very stupid movie, you know, where like he's going, like this people hire him to go after this cult, and like cult smolt, you know, stuff like that, where he's like doing all these one-liners. Like this is like the light-hearted version, just like throwing everything, where like that one's like the more serious approach, even though it is campy. Like that one knows it's campy and cheesy, like it's trying to go for that with the action movie approach of the character. But this one, just like it's just too many things, you know. That's its main detriment. It's like I know it wanted to be just unorthodox and unconventional, but it's just like it got to the point where it was too zany, and it just like did not help keep, you know, I mean, it's interesting to see where it was going next, don't get me wrong, you know, just all the next, you know, all the crazy things that happened, but it's not like I'm ready to see where it goes. It's like, where else, what else are you gonna do, you know? It's just like more of a question, like what else can you do, you know, instead of like being interested in seeing where the story eventually goes. It's just like, what other stupid shit can you do?
right. Yeah, no, like that's what I kept thinking. I was like, what's gonna happen next? And that's like what kind of kept it almost semi-interesting was just to be like, what stupid shit are they gonna throw at us next? Like,
Not to mention the fucking dog ad out of nowhere where like it was like a fucking casting call for a dog, and just like there's a 2-minute scene with a dog chasing a ball. Like this
I
dog wasn't
honestly thought
made, so
that
here's
was a Tubi thing.
yeah.
I was like, wait a second. This is part of the like because it said the end, and I was like, what? And then the commercial popped up, and I was like, what the what? So I actually like went back and I was like, did I miss something? And I was like, okay, so because like they just, I think one of the another problem that I didn't even bring up is how much talking was also in this movie. Just so many
Yeah.
of so much dull, going nowhere conversations that I honestly kept checking out, and that was one of them. And I was like, "Oh crap!" I like went back a little bit just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And I was like, "Okay, so this is just a throwaway gag again." So yeah, no, like that scene absolutely aggravated me because I was like, "This is not necessary."
Yeah, especially like right in the middle of the movie too. It's just like, you can done that at the credits, but I get, it's I don't know. I really don't. Not with this
Uh,
one. Something
no.
it's just like there's just like I said, just they just threw everything, man, and they didn't care what order. Like we're just gonna have a casting call for a dog. Like, oh, he never got this acting gig, but he's got to get this one. Here's your time to shine.
Yeah. Just such a this was really just such a weird movie. I mean, it was at least it was like something that we could just laugh at, something we could just have fun and just turn our brains off, not think about it, and just think of how just ridiculous it was.
Yeah.
Because that's but it's still like not a great movie.
No,
Too much
I mean
talking,
there's a
too many throwaway gags.
yeah, and it's like the gags weren't even compare this to Fisted, where it's like the same thing almost.
That movie
And
is
then
on a
you
different plane of existence.
exactly. And just like, and that one's going for like the so bad, it's so bad intentionally bad, of course, filmmaking style, where like everything, we bring up Fisted constantly, but you have to sometimes, and where it's just like that is just like throwing everything at it, and it's just like it works, it's so bad intentionally, and it works because of that, and like this one's like they're throwing everything, and they can't handle it, and they're like trying, and Fisted is like even cheaper than some of the effects are, um but like this one, like I mean, it's only like I said, it's fine. It's just like they just it's just not one of those that's going to be memorable. I think I already mentioned that. It's just like it's just it's hard to like even bring, not even bring up, but just like suggest to someone like, yeah, watch this, like even the monster aspect of the werebeards, like they're here and there. I mean, there's of course there's like the big epic finals battle of him and the elder beard. There's just like, yeah, they just go around. There's not that much practical gore effects. There's like maybe a swipe here, or someone, there's some blood on Stacy when she stabs one or something, or she pushes one and it goes into like a chipper, right, and it spews blood on her. So again, the for what they're trying to make, I mean, I get it. They're having a fun approach with it. It's just that low budget indie gusto coming through, but it's just like, again, they're wanting to do so much with not much at all, and it's just like I said, they can't juggle it all, and it's the one fallback to the film where like it just doesn't hold up
Yeah.
when everything's all said and done.
Yeah, no, like I think that's one of the things is like we have movies that, you know, like I mean, look at the movie Kung Fury. Like that shit was crazy. So much happened, so many dumb one-liners. I mean, obviously the production value of that was a little bit better than something like this, but like it can be done. I feel like a lot of this could have been done had it been properly planned, you know, and tweaked just a bit. But it was just like you said, its tone was constantly shifting. It just felt like it had like all of these ideas and they were just like, yeah, let's just approve everything. And it was just there was no consistency in it. And when it
Yeah.
wasn't throwaway gags or, you know, something crucial to the plot, it was just random shit talking. And it was just like this movie goes from like boring to like what the hell to, you know, oh, we're actually in the plot of the actual show. But now we're you know, we're going to keep throwing like little bits of everything at you. And it's just like this movie would have been a lot better as a short.
Yeah.
I definitely think it would have been a better short. Just cut down some of that and then take out a couple of the random throwaway gags. Because that's,
Yeah.
you know, honestly, some of those throwaway gags just, if they were removed, this movie would have been like much
70
shorter.
minutes. Yeah, definitely around 70.
Yeah. So I
There's a
don't
good
know.
15 taken out. Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's really much else to discuss on the film. I mean, there's not really even that many big spoilers to discuss either. We pretty much dissected most of the odd and peculiar scenes. Um, you know, there's still a few here and there, but it's not really, they're not really worth checking out. Honestly, they're just like, you know. I mean, unless you really want to see the elder beard. I mean, even that's like not even that great. Um, and like some of the werebeards themselves, like I said, some of them are the same. They're just like, again, trumped up Bigfoot costumes, basically, with like different, you know, heads. You know, looks like beards and mustaches.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not. I mean, personally, again, like I said, I'm going back. Like I get what they're aiming for. They just had too many balls juggling, and they weren't able to keep them going, and it fell through for me personally, where I just was not a fan of it.
Yeah.
There was just too much, and they just didn't know how to handle it. Whereas again, like I said, like Moose, the movie, like they had so many subplots and things like that happening in that film as well, and like certain characters and like puppet people, you know, it's just like so many things, and like that one was like so charming and whimsical, and it worked, and like this one's just like go for the gusto and just like have, you know, like it's just like the total spectrum of like how one manages to make it work and one doesn't, um with all the interesting ideas that they wanted to create in both films. And again, I would go back to Moose over this one, even though again that's the last marathon. But still, like you're gonna have a far better time watching Moose over Werebeard. Again, like I appreciate what they did. You know, they're having fun. They're just wanting to make a fun, quirky movie. And like I said, it just he did it. But this one isn't for me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's I felt like this movie was like almost exactly what I have been wanting for a while. Something off the wall and just absolutely insane. But it just fell so flat and it was so disappointing. Because I was like, man, I was hoping for another Fisted. Or, something along those lines. I don't think we're ever going to get another Fisted because I don't think anybody is insane enough to make a movie like that.
We need it's coming up where it's been almost a while since we've reviewed that. I think we need to do a new review on
That movie is
Fisted.
burnt into my brain.
Yeah, because I don't know if we still have our original review of Fisted, because that's 2017, and I think we lost most of those episodes, and so I think we need to do a rewatch because it has been a few years since then, so we need to see what we can do. Maybe we'll do some kind of special for Fisted. Just to see, because again, I don't think we've watched it since our initial review.
No.
So just
I
getting
still remember that movie though.
I know, like I remember
That
every
is the
fucking moment in that
craziest.
film.
And it's so weird. Like, I forget movies almost immediately after I watch them.
Yeah.
And this is definitely going to be one of those movies that I'm probably going to forget by next week. I'm going to remember the random shit.
It's like, yeah, Fisted is just like moment after moment, so you're able to remember it,
Yeah, and like that just goes to show like the level, like the different levels of like making a scene. Like there are ways to make something like stand out so well. And I was partially drunk watching this movie, and it's still like I bring this movie up. I bring Fisted up all the fucking time. Like I'm telling people, and they're like, "What's it about?" I'm like, "Exactly."
Like you have no idea.
Like, what's it about? Stuff.
Yeah.
I was like,
you can't even really talk about the beginning of it either, because like, what's it about? Because if you tell them the beginning of the film, like that's not going to get them in there. Like, oh, there are a bunch of adult male Boy Scouts going to the woods, and like their counselor of the leader of the Boy Scouts, he touches kids, and then
he molests them.
Yeah, and then they're driving there, and then the freaking tailpipe of the car goes up through the driver's seat into his ass, kills him automatically. Like, well, there goes that plan. And so now they're stuck in the middle of the woods having to fight off ants and like that piss acid, and just like so much goes on from there. Like, just like they look at you, just like, you, sir, are not right. No, and then they walk off.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the thing, like, they did it so well.
And then there's like, the killer, the Fisted killer.
Yeah. And I quote that movie so much. And like, not just like one little quote, like multiple quotes throughout the movie. I still quote it. Like, do the flowers fuck the bees, or do the bees fuck the flowers? The potato scene. Anytime I see a potato, that scene pops up in my head. And I'm like, please stop. It's just like, I don't think it's really as much as what is going on as much as it is the actors and how well they portrayed this.
Yeah. Like the whole film is an experience. Like that's the only way to describe it. It's an experience.
And I have to say, like, just thinking back, like what I was saying, the one-liners just felt so forced. Everything in this movie in Fisted felt natural. And I
Yeah.
think just how crazy it was of a movie, and just them being like, whatever, like, hey, there's a bunch of alligators right here. Why did we have to eat him? Couldn't we have just thrown him in the alligator pit? Whatever. And then the dude punches an alligator in the sky.
Yeah. And he just goes around punching people and they explode.
And that's just, and like Havoc said, we haven't watched this movie but one time. I felt like I had watched that movie 100 times over from how burnt into my brain that movie was on a one-time watch. And I still see it vividly, like, just, and that just goes to show, like I was saying, like, I think it's not really like what is being done, it's how it's being done. And I think that's like the biggest, like, thing. Like, I don't even remember movies like A Quiet Place this vividly. I mean, I watch movies. Sometimes I'll watch some movies a bunch of times and I'm like, oh, I forgot about this scene. 2017 was like, we're 2 years off from 10 years ago. We watched this movie. Like, it's been 8 years, for God's sake. And we still remember this movie. Like, I don't know. I feel like maybe more like creators like this. I mean, The Werebeard, I think could be a fun movie if, they just tweaked everything and, like, weren't like during serious scenes, like, we're just giggling and you can see them smiling when they're trying to deliver some of their lines. And I mean, there's I don't care about the fucking scissors being like obviously like Spirit Halloween scissors, like that kind of shit, like, I didn't care about that
Yeah.
because I mean there's a fucking puppet in Fisted and I loved it. But oh shit, I didn't sign up for this. And just flies away on a broom. Yeah. I don't know. There's just such a way of doing things, and I feel like there's so
And
many
another
movies
thing is,
that
like,
have potential.
yeah, and like Fisted, like, I don't even know where you can get it now. I don't even know. Maybe you can still get it through the director. But like, I don't even know. Like, I don't even think he can sell. I don't think he sells them on his website anymore. DWF Productions, because he does all, a bunch of masks. But I don't know about it. The movie. I mean, you might have to get in contact with him. But again, it's just like it's still under the radar. It's like it's basically a boneyard now, Fisted.
Yeah.
And like, we're the only ones talking about it. Like, all we ever do is bring. Oh, we're gonna have to get that back into our rotation and do another review just to get it out there. Even though, like, I felt like that was just a mini review of it, but just to get more people's eyes on the film, it needs a solo separate show. But yeah, now we went on another tangent on Fisted, but sometimes you just have to, like, it works,
have to get Fisted,
like, especially with this one, like, because it's the same thing that Fisted did so superbly, and like, this one is just like, again, it just wasn't able to handle it, where Fisted was just like, it weaved it well,
No, that's what it's so funny because even like I lent this out. I lent Fisted out to 2 different people, and they still remember that movie. And it's like, and I lent it out shortly after I got it, like, and they returned it to me almost immediately, both people. And just, I loved watching the light leave their eyes when I asked, like, so did you like the movie? And they're just like, it's just like seeing just someone die in real time. And it's just like,
it's like they watch
yeah.
the freaking Fortell videos of those guys getting beheaded, and like, you, sir, you have some weird tastes.
I just, but
like they watch Faces of Death or something. Like, Jesus.
I mean, if we could get permission, I would 100% put this shit up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because this movie,
I'm amazed
needs
it's
to
not
be
on
out there.
Tubi. Like, it should be on Tubi. Like, but I don't know. Like, a bunch of other stuff is. It's like When I Fisted. I mean, there's so much other outlandish stuff out there on Tubi. It's like, like hate crimes on Tubi, and a bunch of other like unearthed, film titles are on Tubi, where it's like, this should be there, but it's just like, again, so under the radar, where maybe he just doesn't really want it out there. I don't know. Like his other films, like, because he did Race War, which is obviously, if you know the title, but like he did that one, which is pretty, non-PC as well.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's definitely something we should do again. And I mean, I'll be fine.
yeah.
I'll be okay. But it's something that, like, I just feel like a lot of movie directors who want to do stuff like this, like Werebeard, like it could have been something close. It didn't have to be exact, but I think it could have been something, because it had the craziness going for it. But I just think if it was maybe a little bit better actors or something, they could have done it, because the acting was pretty bad. And like I said earlier, like the one-liners was just like, oh, you're cutting it a little thin. Like, yeah, you're cutting it a little thin there. Haha. I'm like, that delivery was just not good.
Yeah, and like I said, like especially the one where he's at the warehouse and everything's, like, oh, mom's gone, no, and then like, oh, Stacy, there she is, and then she gets taken, no.
Yeah, that was the scene that I was just laughing at constantly, just when it happened. I was just like, oh my god, no. And he was laughing while he was saying it. You can tell. I was like, bro, come on now. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, I think we need to be clean shaven and call this one a show.
Yeah, we're just gonna get into a long tangent.
Yeah.
Again.
No, but hell, it was the start of a freaking marathon. I'll tell you that much. What a start. But always, Ian, man, the films, man. But I love it. I love it. I love talking with you. You're my buddy, and like I said, wouldn't do it without you. And as always, I appreciate everyone for listening, and hope you join us for the rest of the month as we can continue on our Monsters Day marathon. We got a list of titles. Well, technically 3, but we'll see how
more.
We'll see how the rest of the titles come up as the month progresses. So thank you everyone for listening. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, and we will see you next time.
Happy Mother's Day and Happy Milf's Day.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll see you next time on Horror Night Oasis.
Good night.